You just can't use ChatGPT API to ask questions that are gonna determine if this person can came to a country or not.
It sounds a bit comical because, you can tell government to do something and then you need to wait 10 years and $10 billion. It's like, it's not realistic what they're doing here. We will invest 2.3 billion of dollars from federal government aiming to accelerate business AI adoption to 60% by 2034 and driving $200 billion in economic growth. Let's make Canada intelligent.
Hello, my name is Alexey. I have 10 years of technical experience in software building, including AI workflows nowadays. And here it is, Severyn.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Severyn. I have been working as a research software developer for the last 2 years, masters in AI for science from University of Waterloo. Right now I'm trying to understand how can AI adequately help small businesses to scale, and this conversation is going to help me and my co-host and hopefully you viewers to have a better understanding about like AI integration, AI hype, or AI reality. And we will start our basically discussion about this topic from this news about Canada doing, AI for all program or something like that. The news sounds like this: we will invest 2.3 billion of dollars from federal government aiming to accelerate business AI adoption to 60% by 2034 and driving $200 billion in economic growth. It's pretty interesting. What do you think about it?
It's a lot of money going around, basically. It's like, it's tax money. It's a question everybody asking. If this money gonna help Canada, gonna help, units of the economy, which is economy building, small and medium-sized businesses. And I can say it's very competitive, and I think Canada moving in the right direction, and we need to invest much more money to AI to compete with the United States and some other countries to grab the piece of the market of the overall scale.
Yeah, that's true, but look, when I hear government predicting something for the next, 8 years and actually projecting certain economic growth, it sounds a bit comical because, you can tell government to do something and then you need to wait 10 years and $10 billion. It's like, it's not realistic what they're doing here. The intensive is cool, but come on. Like, you have to think deeper about it, and we will try to do that.
About this topic, it's like economy of the country is a magnet, everything is driven by private funds. Even a government,
But you see, this is like federal funds. It's the government saying, okay, I know the best where to invest, and you guys have to show me you're the coolest guy on the block and we will give you money. This is how it works. But again, I do not see it as something super economically efficient. What do you think? Is this like a good measure of how AI adoption should happen, how AI investment should happen?
You could show about the results. The government of Alberta already using AI to rebuild their legacy systems, and they already in place. They open source it, not for everybody, for different government of Ontario, etc. Right. And it's good movement. ERSS already using it to detect fraud in documents that people submitted. We do not have some people with a criminal past that falsificate the documents in our country. Yeah. It's gonna be a bright future for Canada. And it could do wrong, but government have to invest money of people to build better country, and AI can help with it.
Well, okay, I agree with some of the stuff. Cool thing about Alberta is actually kudos to Alberta. They actually tried something useful with AI and looks like they implemented it correctly and it works. But the big but here is this like a baseline or is this like a ceiling? Like, will we see more of that coming next year, or is this like a flat line adoption and we will just see like, localized automations of things, but not an AI revolution? And I think this is pretty important here because US economy and I think partially Chinese economy aiming to transform everything with AI, while Canada, well, pretty slow with adoption of everything, I feel like, but technology in particular. And I do not know how federal funding would be more efficient than venture capital or just bootstrapping certain solutions. So we will try to think about it a bit later. From my perspective, as a person who works for like small businesses from time to time, if you hire a proper contractor, you can do a lot of nice automation for certain specific tasks, and we discussed it in our previous episode. But like when you have giant corporations approaching you and saying, okay, we will have all of your data somewhere, we will analyze it, and then we will do some automations or all company automation, like all together, like we'll automate your small business. It doesn't sound pretty good. And this is what I'm trying to say. Government funding is cool, and I think a big chunk of that will go to, I don't know, like data centers, like hardware. But like when you invest in something, you cannot, if you invest in social stuff, so it's like AI for all, meaning like everyone will have access to AI, like how will it drive economic growth? It's different things. So when you see investment, it's not always investment that will create new jobs or will generate economic growth. It usually can suggest that you will just subsidize certain failing businesses, or maybe you will just create like social programs where everyone will have a free AI subscription, and that will not yield any particular result. And this is like what matters, because people will ask about this AI integration soon, and we have to have answers. Do you feel it?
Man, you have results from like private funding for private equity. Some of the companies already do integration with, you have like vertical, like the most common use cases is gonna be in banking and already KYC, customers identification, predictive analytics of the mortgages. Canada is the most like monopoly. You have big companies that control 90% of the field, and they already have some dedicated departments in doing it.
Yeah.
But this vertical going a bit down to some agriculture and construction, that even like small businesses have enough funds to build some like predictive analytics about agriculture to understand, depends on which region, how your machine should like function to have better output, or analytics, how much labor do you need to, or like how to optimize your internal processes. It's complicated because basically it costs money, and it's going to like small businesses that are using chatbots, some cheap parts that do like less labor, more labor effective, like way to do conversations with AI and integrations with it. I mean, like market is nice. In Canada, we have even our sovereign AI. You could say it's not sovereign because it's based on some VC funds like Cohere. Is we have like AIs that government can use internally to basically, it's Canadian company. It could be trained based on Canadian data, and we could have some Canadian results right here that could help our country to grow and compete with the big leaders.
Okay, talking about competition, everyone knows that to compete with someone, you have to, have all the tools all the right tools to compete, and as as small regulations as possible, right?
Yeah.
But then here we see that Canada wants to expand safety and ethics department, of AI project, offering or maybe even enforcing stuff like Canadian Trusted AI certification. I do not know details about that, but do you think it's a good idea to give certificates to like AI companies or to businesses who integrate AI in their operations? Like,
I
what does it mean? Like,
I could tell you about like examples. You have different LLMs which not publicly, like kind of marketing widespread. You have LLMs for legal services.
Right.
You have LLMs for healthcare. You have LLMs for some specific business needs that has certifications for some specific field. If government gonna use AI to approve somebody visa to a country and make a decisions in terms of some approaches, this AI have to be legislated with the governments based on some data that this AI could be trustable. You just can't use ChatGPT API to ask questions that are gonna determine if this person can came to a country or not. You need to have some AI that certified based on the government and proved that it's gonna give right results.
but how do you see it enforced? Like, will we have our own large language models trained for certain government jobs, or what do you mean by that?
I mean, for example, like I'm gonna be a bit technical, but Facebook has, for example, Llama is 3 million parameters, not 3 billion.
Okay.
And you can't have small like models that gonna make only decision making in some specific field. It's gonna be cool because it's gonna, for example, waiting time to get some visa sometimes like take 1 year to get approved, and you're gonna have model based on historical data that could make these decisions, and you can prove based on the test data that it's gonna works fine, and only person gonna double check it instead of 30 days 2 hours. And it can help.
Yeah, that's my dream.
Yeah, it's gonna be our
Hopefully.
dream. So I mean,
One day.
and I hope this billions of dollars from our tax money gonna go to exact such things to make Canada better.
Okay, I see. Okay, next question is, okay, we have this Canada's AI for All national strategy. We have discussed, the amount of money, how this money will be distributed, like roughly, like we understand, okay, they will probably create some programs under the government. They will invest part of that money, and probably they will support existing businesses with that money, or even motivate certain branches of the government to use more AI, I guess. But another interesting question is education and skills. So it says here that they plan to launch National AI Literacy Initiative to reach 1 million post-secondary students while expanding the CanCode program, whatever it means, to provide free AI training to K-12 youth. So, from your perspective, how would you teach kids about AI, and what should be there? Like, you have to fact check your information, or like you have to know how to build your ChatGPT wrapper. What do you think is important?
I mean, Americans already use inside of the school something to describe based on the video, nice pictures, to elementary school how physics works. It's super cool, and I know the products from Google and some other companies, because every person has different perspective how it's better for him to learn something.
Yeah, exactly.
And you already have educational product in the States that person going to do some simple test, and after you create the program with pictures, videos, audio exactly for this person to understand subjects better. So basically, if you're gonna integrate AI to education, you can have highly motivated people who do not upset, they do not understand something, as they gonna know physics better, as they gonna know math better, like chemistry, and you could have hypothetical scientists who can bring Canada to next level, have a generational, like wealth gonna grow faster.
Well, hopefully. I agree with that, and also, I feel like if I have a kid and I have a choice either to send him or she to a public school, I mean like a mid-public school, or teach them with AI, if we have like a good enough AI that does not, hallucinate a bunch of crap or gives, answers right away, I think it's a pretty cool thing, to have personalized, learning experience. Why I'm saying that, because like, for instance, like some kids, they like their problems to be explained through, and that's my favorite thing, through worked examples. It basically means that you have a problem, AI does not simply give you an answer or explains the answer right away. It actually explains you the problem and how you should work through the problem in a step-by-step way. And you just read this chain of thought and steps and understand the problem correctly so you can solve the next one. And this is pretty cool. And I think if we can have something like that for kids, that will help with the homework. Because when I was a kid, I used a lot of, solved homework, stuff like that. And, I know it's not helping. At the end of the day, you have to study stuff properly. But the bigger idea about this is AI can help people to study more personalized learning, maybe even more motivated learning for kids. But it's really hard to implement or adopt in public schools. At public schools, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the results. I mean, you should be flexible. I think government should be flexible to adopt it, because you have pros and cons, because you have a lot of people in the schools, you had a protest in Alberta and different provinces, they have like 40 students per class. And some of them do not like to go to a school. You can build sport facilities for them and reinvest this money. They could do learning from home, learning for open air sometimes over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
You can give them content. If you have eventually have a system to assess people already, there is in place, so you can check if it works or not and expand it. And I think in this case you can have more healthy people, because you're gonna just reinvest this money in health. You're gonna create some more sport activities that can be replaced by AI, and you have some AI stuff that can help to solve a lot of problems with the full classes that can be solved in one day, because you need to build new skills or you can use AI. I mean, it's 3 years solutions, or it's gonna be 1 year solution to build a plan of integrations.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so the bottom line is, well, we do not know if AI can revolutionize or improve dramatically something, but we know that it's pretty useful tool for certain problems or certain tasks, and we definitely want to encourage people to try. In some places it's hard to try, in some places it's easier, but at the end of the day, the only proper way to know if AI is useless or useful is to actually experiment with it. So we challenge you to experiment with stuff in your life, and let us in the comments, how did it go?
Yeah, let's make Canada intelligent.
Yeah, let's make Canada intelligent.